In a hall where even light dared not reveal the faces of those within, fortunes were wagered in silence and legends were traded for a price. That night, beneath veils of mist and suppressed killing intent, a single black gemstone was enough to stir ancient grudges, awaken monstrous greed, and draw the attention of powers that ruled the Devil Dao. "He's a cultivator from the Ye clan," Ge Tianhao said gravely. "The Ye clan. The Imperial Ye clan." The endless sky, Saintess's voice, carried unmistakable surprise. "Does fellow Taoist Lin recognize the one who dispatched them?" Ge Tianhao asked, a strange look flickering across his face. "He is an elder of the Ye clan surnamed Han. His appearance is identical to that of the man we are pursuing." "Is that so?" The Saintess' brows knit together. "Are they truly the same person? What connection could such an individual possibly have with the Ye clan?" Ge Tianhao's expression grew solemn. "I cannot say for certain. The one I soul-searched was merely a wandering cultivator recruited by the Ye clan. Even if the two are not the same person, they must be closely related. Otherwise, why would they send someone to shadow us? And if that man is indeed a Ye clan elder, then this matter may become rather troublesome." The Saintess gave a faint, amused smile. "Is the Imperial clan truly so formidable? If I recall correctly, the Ye clan was once restrained by several great sects, including your own. What cause have you to fear them?" Ge Tianhao let out a quiet sigh. "The Ye clan is no ordinary cultivation family. Their status as the foremost clan of Great Jin does not stem from their imperial bloodline, but from their strength. They command 7 nascent soul-stage elders. Beyond that, they have gathered a great number of wandering cultivators and secretly nurtured hidden forces over countless years. Their true power rivals that of any major sect. The man who followed us may not have possessed profound cultivation, but the flag he wielded was exceptionally formidable. Had it not been for fellow Taoist Lin's clear sound mirror, we would have found it exceedingly difficult to detect his presence." "It was nothing," the Saintess replied calmly. "My cultivation art sharpens my senses. From the moment we departed the market, I faintly sensed something amiss. It was merely fortune that I used the clear sound mirror at the opportune moment." She fixed her gaze on Ge Tianhao. "How does Brother Ji intend to handle this? Does your sect still plan to honor its agreement with our Endless Sky Temple?" Ge Tianhao looked toward the distant horizon and chuckled softly. "The Ye clan may be powerful, but my sect does not fear them. This concerns our sect's signature treasure and the life of our enforcement elder. Even if that man truly is a Ye clan elder, we can negotiate an exchange. Fellow Taoist Lin need not trouble herself over this matter. The appointed hour approaches. Let us proceed to the trade meet. Brother Ji's words have set my heart at ease." The Saintess inclined her head, satisfaction glimmering in her eyes. Moments later, the three transformed into streaks of light and shot across the sky. Unbeknownst to them, shortly after their departure, a flicker of black radiance shimmered into existence nearby, revealing an azure-robed youth. He gazed in the direction they had vanished, a cold sneer curling upon his lips. "So the Yin Sifting Sect and the Endless Sky Temple have joined hands. Very well." His eyes glinted with chilling malice. "I shall let you live a while longer. Draw that youth Han out for me. I have not forgotten the hatred I bear for the destruction of my main soul." With those words, his figure blurred like a phantom in the wind and vanished without a trace. Hanley stood within a faint veil of green mist, a wry smile surfacing in his thoughts. He found himself in a dimly lit hall. Nearly 400 seats were arranged in a vast circle around an empty central space, their silent presence lending the chamber an air of solemn secrecy. To his astonishment, just as he had been about to enter the trade meet, a masked gatekeeper had affixed a peculiar talisman onto him. He was then ushered through a simple teleportation formation. When the world steadied once more, he stood within the hall, shrouded entirely in a cocoon of green light. Not even the faintest outline of his true appearance could be discerned. Suppressing his alarm, Han Li swiftly swept his gaze across the hall. Several dozen cultivators were already present, each concealed beneath mists of differing hues. A few stood apart from the others, motionless and silent as spectres. Curiosity stirred within him. Taking a seat in a secluded corner, Han Li discreetly released his spiritual sense, attempting to pierce through the shrouding light. To his surprise, even with his formidable spiritual sense, he was unable to forcibly penetrate the veil. Though he had not exerted his full strength, he suspected the result would not differ much. As these thoughts crossed his mind, he allowed his spiritual sense to sweep across the hall itself. He soon discerned that the chamber was enveloped within a peculiar spell formation. It did not appear overtly restrictive, yet the spiritual qi it emitted resonated perfectly with the luminous shrouds concealing the cultivators. Proficient in both talismans and formations, Han Li pondered briefly before inwardly marveling. The talisman was clearly crafted to function in perfect harmony with the formation. Once attached, the moment one entered the formation's range, the talisman's concealment would activate. No matter how powerful a cultivator's spiritual sense might be, it would be impossible to overwhelm the formation's effects. Thus, free from fear of recognition, these reclusive figures could openly exchange treasures of immeasurable rarity without concern for future calamity. Han Li exhaled softly, his earlier worries about encountering yin-sifting sect cultivators easing considerably. He placed his jade plate upon the table before him and leaned back, closing his eyes in quiet contemplation. Time passed like drifting smoke. One by one, more cultivators emerged from the teleportation formation, the hall gradually filling with silent figures cloaked in shifting lights. When Han Li opened his eyes again, nearly 200 cultivators had gathered. At the center of the hall, a 10-meter-wide table of pristine white jade had appeared without notice. He narrowed his eyes, observing it wordlessly. Soon after, the jade table shimmered with radiant light. A silhouette enveloped in pure white luminescence materialized behind it. The appointed hour has arrived. All who are meant to attend should now be present. Let the trade meet commence. With a sweep of his sleeve, 4 bulging storage pouches appeared upon the table. A palpable wave of excitement rippled through the hall. The rules remain as before, the white silhouette continued. This gathering will primarily focus on rare materials. Ancient treasures and magic tools may also be traded, provided they are sufficiently uncommon. As is customary, you may offer materials in exchange for spirit stones, and the highest bidder shall obtain them. However, there is one difference this time. He paused briefly. We have been entrusted by an esteemed client to sell a supreme treasure on his behalf. He will exchange it only for several materials seldom seen in this world. Should no one possess them, it shall then be auctioned for spirit stones. Whether you can claim it depends upon your own fortune. A voice rose from the crowd. A supreme treasure. And what does he seek in return? Materials, medicinal pills, or magic treasures? If we unknowingly trade away something he desires, we may regret it dearly. The white silhouette chuckled. This item defies ordinary description. You shall understand when the time comes. As for your concerns, they are unnecessary. The materials required are things no ordinary cultivator would relinquish lightly. His confident tone stirred murmurs throughout the hall. Curiosity ignited in many hearts, yet no one pressed further. The silhouette lifted one of the storage pouches. A flicker of black light flashed, and in his hand appeared an object resembling a jujube, faintly gleaming with somber black radiance. A yin jujube, born within a human tomb during the convergence of a yin year, yin month, and yin day, a phenomenon that occurs but once every 300 years. It was further refined through a secret art for 49 days, tempered by the resentment of a vengeful ghost until its cycle of reincarnation was complete. It may be consumed directly as a pill or refined into medicine. The starting bid is 100,000 spirit stones with increments of 5,000. Han Li's heart stirred with astonishment. He had never before heard of such a sinister treasure. 120,000, 140,000, 145,000. In mere breaths, the price soared to terrifying heights. Each bidder was shrouded in faint black haze, clearly cultivators of the devil Tao. In the end, the yin jujube was sold for 190,000 spirit stones. Without pause, The white silhouette produced the next item, a half-foot-long block of scarlet metal radiating intense heat. Blood Yang iron, forged from scarlet sun iron and the primal souls of 3 fire attribute core formation cultivators. A rare material for refining yin fire treasures. The starting bid is 150,000 spirit stones with increments of 10,000, 180,000, 200,000. Han Li had heard of this material before. Though fewer bidders contended for it, each possessed formidable wealth. None were willing to yield. Ultimately, it was claimed for 250,000 spirit stones. Ghost blight grass. One sinister treasure after another emerged, each brimming with malevolent qi, each commanding astronomical sums far surpassing those seen at the grand auction. Han Li lightly stroked his storage pouch, a bitter smile forming. He had feared insufficient spirit stones before, but he had not anticipated treasures of such staggering value. The bid soared beyond anything he had expected. Jade rubber, a worldly spiritual wood produced by the jade oak tree once every 1,000 years, suitable for refining wondrous treasures and an ideal material for mechanical puppets. The starting bid is 120,000 spirit stones with increments of 5,000, 150,000. The instant the white silhouette revealed a white gelatinous substance upon the jade table, it felt as though lightning cleaved through Han Li's mind. Without the slightest hesitation, he raised his voice and placed his bid. Among nascent soul cultivators, only a scant few still devoted themselves to the refinement of puppets and other eccentric contraptions. Thus, Han Li found himself contending with merely 4 others for the item. After several measured bids, he secured it for 170,000 spirit stones. A faint glimmer of satisfaction stirred within his calm heart. The white silhouette continued unveiling treasures one after another. 2 more items caught Han Li's discerning eye. One he obtained for 190,000 spirit stones. The other, far more renowned, ignited a frenzy of competition, forced into an unrelenting bidding war. He finally claimed it for 310,000 spirit stones, a price steep enough to make even him wince. Inwardly, these acquisitions consumed the greater portion of the spirit stones in his storage pouch. Fortunately, no additional materials he urgently required surfaced afterwards, sparing him further expense. When the final treasure was sold, and the storage pouches upon the jade table lay empty, the auctioneer's luminous silhouette seemed faintly pleased. "The auction portion has concluded," he announced evenly. "Fellow Taoists may now conduct private exchanges as they see fit. However, I shall speak plainly first. These transactions are unmonitored. We assume no responsibility for counterfeit goods or misjudgments. We merely provide the venue and will not interfere so long as our rules are upheld. Furthermore, any cultivator who conducts trades must remit 10,000 spirit stones at the end, regardless of the number of exchanges made. Now then, act as you will." With that, his figure blurred and drifted aside. He seated himself cross-legged and appeared to sink into meditation, detached from worldly affairs. As expected, several figures in the crowd instantly transformed into streaks of light and surged toward the stage. Yet one crimson streak outpaced them all, arriving first behind the jade table. The red silhouette clasped his hands politely and spoke in a buoyant tone. "My thanks for yielding this first opportunity. Your turns will soon follow." The others, seeing they had been beaten, could only withdraw to their seats. Han Li's lips curved faintly. Those who traded first indeed held an advantage, securing needed items before others could act. Still, such urgency only applied to relatively common materials. Truly obscure or highly specialized treasures rarely drew fierce competition for priority. Since the materials Han Li lacked were of the latter kind, esoteric, and scarcely desired, he remained unhurried. The red silhouette produced numerous rare materials and sought exclusively pill-refining ingredients in exchange. Before long, he completed several profitable trades and departed the stage with unmistakable satisfaction. The next few traders likewise enjoyed smooth proceedings, their silhouettes radiating subdued triumph as they returned to their seats. Yet not all were so fortunate. A yellow-robed silhouette presented a piece of glittering azure metal, seeking a certain ice attribute material Han Li himself had never heard of. He called out 3 times, but no one answered. At last he retreated in dejection, his luminous outline dimmer than before. As time passed, more such scenes unfolded. Dozens ascended the stage, the majority returned empty-handed. It was not that their items lacked value. Rather, the terms of exchange proved unfavorable or interest simply failed to align. Rarity alone did not guarantee desirability. Of course, there were also cultivators who coveted certain treasures but lacked the requested items. Many attempted negotiations via voice transmission. Most were coldly refused. Only a rare few succeeded, Han Li among them. His exchange had been straightforward. He offered several thousand-year spirit herbs and a handful of high-grade demon cores in return for a material he required. While 1 or 2 of these might occasionally appear in markets, assembling such a quantity at once was nearly impossible. The other cultivator hesitated only briefly before agreeing. Additionally, Han Li managed to trade for 2 more puppet materials from his reserves. Now only the 2 rarest components remained beyond his grasp. Yet they were so exceedingly scarce that he doubted ordinary eccentrics would part with them at all. At that moment, Monarch Soul Divergence's voice echoed within his sea of consciousness. "Youngster Han, what do you intend to present? If it is not of sufficient quality, I fear no one will trade." Han Li's eyes gleamed faintly. "I have already considered this. Since most here follow the Devil Tao, do I not possess precisely what they desire most?" Monarch Soul Divergence sounded startled. "You are truly willing to part with it? If they refuse to yield the final materials, I have no choice. We have gathered everything else. I will not allow my efforts to fall short at the final step. If Senior's puppet is truly as formidable as claimed, then it warrants such a price." Han Li gave a soft chuckle and rose to his feet. At that moment, another disheartened cultivator descended from the stage without securing a single trade. Han Li stepped forward calmly, his figure drifting behind the jade table. Instantly, countless gazes converged upon him, eager to witness what rare treasure he would unveil. With a flick of his wrist, he produced 2 exquisitely crafted jade boxes. Yet he did not open them immediately. Instead, he swept his gaze across the hall and spoke in a deliberately hoarse, altered voice. "These contain refinement materials for Supreme Devil Tao treasures 2 Devil Essence diamonds. I seek elemental jade and brilliant glow gem in exchange." With a subtle motion of his fingers, the lid sprang open. Within lay 2 dim black gemstones, each several inches in size. They exuded a faint yet unmistakable strand of black chi, profound and oppressive. Devil Essence diamonds, the material used to forge devil dragon blades. Did I hear correctly? Impossible. How could such a thing appear in this world? Is it genuine? An uproar erupted throughout the hall. Shocked exclamations rang out one after another. Even the white silhouette, who had remained motionless in meditation, abruptly opened his eyes. Astonishment flickered within his luminous gaze as he fixed upon the 2 diamonds. "To speak frankly," Han Li continued evenly, "were I a Devil Tao cultivator, I would never part with such items. As for authenticity, if any among you can produce the materials I require, I shall allow careful inspection." His calm confidence quelled much of the doubt. Silence gradually settled as all eyes remained riveted upon the Devil Essence diamonds. Elemental jade and brilliant glow gem were indeed rare, yet their value paled in comparison to the diamonds. The exchange was undeniably tempting. To everyone's surprise, the white silhouette himself spoke. "I possess a brilliant glow gem. It was too precious to offer during the auction. If I have it retrieved, will you permit me to inspect the Devil Essence diamond?" A flicker of astonishment crossed Han Li's face, but he responded without hesitation. "I have no reason to doubt you. Please." The white silhouette nodded. A streak of fiery light shot upward, piercing through the ceiling and vanishing into the night beyond. Then he rose and walked steadily toward Han Li. Whispers rippled through the hall once more, though none dared speak too loudly. The white silhouette presided over the trade meet. His experience was unquestionable. All watched intently. With practiced familiarity, he picked up one devil essence diamond. Opening his mouth, he exhaled a thread of white nascent flame. The moment the flame touched the diamond's black chi, it was utterly repelled, unable to advance even a fraction. Excitement flickered across his luminous visage. He formed an incantation seal, recalled the flame, and instead exhaled a sphere of blue glacial chi. It enveloped the diamond, yet could not freeze it in the slightest. His gaze sharpened. Raising a finger, he channeled a stream of dense black devilish chi into the gemstone. The chi was completely absorbed without the faintest reaction. "It is genuine, a true devil essence diamond," he declared decisively. "I shall take it." No sooner had he spoken than a masked cultivator in grey robes appeared 10 meters away, as though materializing from thin air. He bowed respectfully to the white silhouette and handed over a jade box before vanishing once more into obscurity. "This is a brilliant glow gem. Fellow Taoist may inspect it to see whether it meets your expectations." The white silhouette extended the jade box toward Han Li. Han Li accepted it without a word. As the lid was lifted, a pale yellow gemstone was revealed within. It radiated a faint violet halo, the mingling lights shimmering in layered brilliance. The glow was so intense that an ordinary cultivator might have found it difficult to gaze upon directly. A surge of elation rose within Han Li's heart. Blue light flickered across his pupils as he activated a secret art. He lifted the gem between his fingers and examined it carefully, his expression tranquil and unreadable. The white silhouette, however, was inwardly shaken. Even he could only stare at the brilliant glow gem for brief moments at a time. Yet this unknown cultivator calmly scrutinized it for so long without the slightest discomfort. Just who was he? After a long moment, Han Li nodded. "Not bad. It is a top-grade, brilliant glow gem. You may take the devil essence diamond." With that, he stored the gem away. "Then I shall not stand on ceremony." The white silhouette chuckled lightly and carefully secured the diamond. His gaze lingered greedily on the remaining devil essence diamond. "Since no one else seems able to provide the materials you desire, I am willing to purchase this one at a generous price or exchange it for other rare treasures. However you wish to proceed, I will ensure you are satisfied." "Who said no one has the materials? I possess a piece of elemental jade." "Hold, that item is mine. I will not permit anyone else to take it." The moment the white silhouette finished speaking, 2 voices rang out from the crowd, one deep and thunderous, the other soft and melodious. Black and silver streaks of light shot forward, arriving before Han Li in an instant. A murmur swept through the hall. While brilliant glow gems were obscure to many, elemental jade was renowned throughout the cultivation world as a supreme material for refining jade-attributed magic. Treasures. It appeared in the world perhaps once every 500 years. To see it revealed here was enough to stir envy and disbelief in equal measure. Clearly, some among these hidden figures possessed unimaginable treasures. They had merely chosen not to reveal them until now. When the white silhouette heard the deep voice, his posture faltered ever so slightly, though the surrounding mist concealed the change. The black-robed figure ignored the slender silver silhouette beside him and fixed his gaze upon the white silhouette. "Second elder year," he said coldly, "do you dare violate the rules of the trade, meet by attempting to monopolize the devil essence diamond?" His figure was tall and imposing. Though his face remained hidden, the chill in his tone was unmistakable. "Brother Kun overthinks the matter," the white silhouette replied wryly, cupping his hands. "I merely offered a suggestion. Since the 2 of you are now present, I shall not interfere further." How prudent, the black figure snorted, folding his hands behind his back. The silver silhouette stood silently to the side, seemingly momentarily stunned by the exchange. Whispers rippled through the hall. "Kun, could that be Elder Kun Wuji of the austere blood sect? The voice sounds exactly like his. Who else but that late nascent soul cultivator would dare speak so brazenly?" Han Li's expression shifted slightly. So this was Kun Wuji, a late nascent soul cultivator from one of the 10 great Devil Dao sects. After a brief silence, the silver silhouette exhaled softly. So it is Elder Kun of the austere blood sect. I have been discourteous. Do you also possess the materials this fellow Taoist seeks? If so, I shall withdraw and yield the item to you. Despite her gentle tone, it was clear she had no intention of relinquishing the Devil Essence Diamond easily. Kun Wuji let out a low, eerie chuckle. Though I lack elemental jade and brilliant glow gems, the treasures I possess are of equal, if not greater, worth. If you are wise, you will step aside. The silver silhouette laughed lightly. That may prove difficult. I have sought a Devil Essence Diamond for many years. How about this? If this fellow Taoist prefers your materials over my elemental jade, I shall concede. Very well. I am not unreasonable. Let him decide. Kun Wuji's confidence was absolute. Han Li himself cared little who ultimately obtained the diamond. Though the confrontation was troublesome, he was inwardly relieved that elemental jade had indeed appeared. The silver silhouette raised her hand. A green wooden box drifted onto the table sealed with a faint silver talisman. Fellow Taoist may verify whether my elemental jade is genuine, she said sweetly. Kun Wuji sneered, and with a flick of his sleeve produced several jade boxes of varying sizes, setting them upon the table. You will find my offerings far more valuable than mere elemental jade. Han Li remained silent. With a wave of his hand, the green wooden box flew into his grasp. He brushed away the talisman. The lid opened to reveal a round piece of rainbow-hued jade. Curiously, it emitted no dazzling light, yet dense spiritual chi pulsed within it like a hidden tide. He examined it briefly, suppressing the surge of excitement in his chest. It is genuine elemental jade, he said calmly, closing the lid. His gaze then shifted to Kun Wuji's boxes, though he would have preferred to conclude the matter with the elemental jade alone. Offending a late nascent soul cultivator was not something he would do lightly. Moreover, Kun Wuji's confidence piqued his curiosity. Kun Wuji gestured casually. The lids of the jade boxes lifted of their own accord. Phoenix fall wood, soul-focusing stone, myriad wheel flower. Before Han Li could identify them himself, sharp-eyed cultivators in the hall gasped and called out the names, their voices trembling with disbelief. Even the silver silhouette visibly stiffened. It was no wonder Kun Wuji had spoken so boldly. Each item was extraordinarily rare, rarer even than elemental jade. The myriad wheel flower in particular was comparable in value to a Devil Essence diamond itself. Yet Han Li's gaze did not linger on the myriad wheel flower. Instead, it settled upon a piece of faint golden ore, resting quietly among the treasures. The silver silhouette's heart sank. Han Li extended his hand. The golden ore flew into his grasp. Kun Wuji laughed proudly. So my auric essence has caught your attention. You have discerning eyes. Sword cultivators who refine it will see their power increase dramatically. In all of Great Jin, I doubt anyone else possesses a piece of this size. Han Li spoke without hesitation. I will exchange the diamond for this auric essence. Wait, don't you still want my elemental jade? Silence. Kun Wuji's voice exploded like thunder. Do you truly wish to provoke me? A terrifying pressure erupted from him, crashing toward the silver silhouette like a mountain. She staggered back several steps before barely steadying herself. Han Li watched quietly. Kun Wuji seized the Devil Essence diamond and examined it with unconcealed excitement. A genuine Devil Essence diamond. This trip was not in vain. If those old devils knew one would appear here, they would drown in regret. He stored the diamond away and burst into wild laughter. With a sweep of his sleeve, the remaining jade boxes vanished. His figure blurred toward the teleportation formation at the hall's entrance. The white silhouette called out, "Brother Kun, will you not remain to see the grand treasure?" What treasure could surpass this? Kun Wuji roared with laughter. Now that I have the Devil Essence diamond, I must return at once to refine the pure devilish chi within. I have no interest in your grand treasure. His form flashed through the teleportation array and vanished without a trace. Refined devilish chi? Han Li's eyes flickered as understanding dawned. Devil Essence diamonds were born from the deepest depths of devilish chi. They naturally contained vast concentrations of it. For a Devil Dao cultivator, such a treasure was beyond measure. No wonder Kun Wuji had lost all interest in other offerings the moment he obtained it. Meanwhile, the silver silhouette, having been suppressed and robbed of her prize, seethed with anger. She raised her hand to retrieve the elemental jade. Suddenly, Hanli placed the green wooden box firmly upon the table. "Wait," he said evenly. "I also want this." That's all for today's content. See you in the next part. Support me by becoming a member. It will give me more motivation. Thank you so much.